In this tutorial, I'll be demonstrating how to draw this grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich using these markers and colored pencils. I'll leave a list of my materials in the description. First, I'll start by tracing the outline of this sandwich from this tracing paper onto my drawing surface. And the photograph is courtesy of the fine photographer over at Pixabay by the handle of RAGABZ. I'll leave that info in the description as well. Now I'm ready for the markers, starting with cadmium yellow for the buttery tops of the bread. If you aren't using Copic markers, you can match this color as closely as you can. Then I'll use pale sepia for the bread crust, as well as for the peanut butter. And then burnt sienna for the jam. Warm gray for the cut ends of the bread. And burnt umber for the darker parts of the crust around the edges. Moving on to my pencils now, I'm using sienna brown to try to match the brown grill patterns on the surface of the bread. My peanut butter is a little bit too warm, so I'm muting the color using my warm gray marker. And again with my sienna brown pencil, I'm trying to replicate those little bubbles that form in bread as it's being baked, and how they would turn brown once they are grilled. And here darkening the grill marks a bit more with my sienna brown pencil. The patterns I'm making aren't copied exactly from the photo source, but are basically just abstractions made to approximate the look of grilled bread. The cut ends of the bread also have little bubbles and pits that I'm drawing in with my warm gray pencil, and I'm making sure to have an assortment of sizes so that it looks natural. And now on to the peanut butter. I'm first using my bronze pencil for the darker shading. And then yellow ochre to start building up the highlights. And deepening some of the shadows here, again with my bronze pencil. And then I'll switch back to my yellow ochre to pull out some of the brighter highlights. And then my sand pencil for even brighter highlights. There's still more to go, but I'm happy with how this peanut butter is starting to take shape. So I'm going to move on to the jam using my orange pencil. And then black cherry for some of the darker shadows. You can see I'm moving really slowly here, so I'm just going to speed it up a bit. If you're at all acquainted with drawing, you know how long it takes sometimes, but honestly, that's what I like about it. It gives you a chance to just slow down and kind of just meditate as you draw. And now I'm using indigo blue to get some of the darks even darker still. And now for probably my favorite part of drawing this. I'm using my white highlight pen for the glistening highlights of the jam and peanut butter. These are the hottest pops of light that occur when light hits something either watery or wet. And that's it for now, but more of that later. And then deepening the shadows with my bronze pencil just around these glistening parts will help the highlights to pop even more. And before adding any more highlights, I'm going to deepen some of the darks first, starting with black grape and then indigo blue. And also, before adding any more of the hotter highlights, I'm going to pull out some of the softer highlights using my 30% warm gray and then my white pencil. And now let's have some more fun with our white highlight pen, creating hot highlights over the parts of the jam and peanut butter that the light is hitting. Now that I have some of these hot highlights down, it's easier for me to see where I need to deepen some of the shadows using my bronze pencil and then bring out some more of the highlights with my white pencil. A few more white highlights on the peanut butter just to the left over here. And now we need some shading on the tabletop, so it looks like the sandwich is actually sitting on something rather than floating. And again, I'll use my favorite tool, the white highlight pen, for the sliced part of the bread, putting highlights around the little bubble parts to create a sort of a spongy appearance. And there you have it, a grilled PB&J sandwich with markers and colored pencils. I really hope you enjoyed watching, and if you followed along, I hope you found it instructive. Please give a like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this.